Good morning, YouTube. What's up? It's Irish USMC Vet, and Mr. Stinger's not here. So we'll give it a few minutes for people to come in since yesterday we were late. Monday we had technical difficulties. I'm Irish USMC Vet. Today's topic is elderberries. Elderberries and what we're going to do with them. So, using elderberry. Everybody's panicked about the flu and COVID-19. It's a respiratory disease caused by the novel coronavirus that is first detected in Wuhan City. Everybody knows this. All right. And 37 locations internationally. So there's still, the CDC has not updated anything yet so far today. But according to the Drudge Report, let's see, the Drudge Report is saying not saying a whole lot about that. Screening missing half cases. They're missing, it says they're missing half the cases. San Francisco's in a state of emergency. Don't know why. Woman tests positive for coronavirus and dengue fever at the same time. Doomsday Vault stocked 60,000 more food seeds. And the Drudge Report just updated. Looks like we have Mr. Stinger.
Hey, sorry, I couldn't figure out where the email was for the link. You sent it to me yesterday, so I'm like,
You're that damn important, right? So you're getting all them emails. You have to star my
oh,
shit.
yeah.
Star mine.
Is that what we're calling spam? I'm very important.
On your Proton Mail account?
Dude, you sign up for one mailing list. I swear to God.
Damn, I don't have any on there.
No. Yeah, by the way, if anybody doesn't know about Proton Mail, man, that's a great site to keep your privacy. They encrypt your emails for free. You don't get a lot of space for the free spot, but anyway, I dumped Google and went to Proton Mail. So,
and then we also use a different text messaging service.
Yeah, what you turned me on to, and thank you for that, by the way.
And I can't tell you the name of it right off the top of my head, but because I use it every day.
Oh,
but
I can. It's called Signal.
Signal, right?
Yep.
There you go. So download that and authenticate all your buddies and stuff. But yeah, I use Proton Mail. I have for a long time, but I didn't, I don't send it out to everybody.
Also, you might want to start thinking about putting your GoFundMe in the comments or pin it to the top of your comments here, dude. You don't have Patreon right now or whatever, but you have a good cause, and that's what we're talking about in the videos. You might want to put that in either descriptions or pin it in the top comments so that people who can or want to donate can donate.
Yeah, I gotta professional it up because it's just in my lingo. Mm-hmm. So I'll doctor it up, get to it. Probably next week I'll have everything good to go. Just try, like I said, this is just a week to work out all the bugs since we had so many problems already. But Monday or Tuesday, my camera didn't work. One day it was too dark. Not
this
that anybody
is 2 days in a row though that we get to see your face. So
not that anybody wants to see my ugly mug.
I like it. It's better than me here by myself looking at myself all day. So
well,
cool.
We've been 4 minutes so far, and we only have 2 people coming in to check in the side box over there so we can know who's here today. So, how's things going today? It's quite early there, I take it, still?
Yeah, it's 7:30. It's not that bad, but it is for me because I'm usually up late, and it's hard to get up early. But luckily, I'm not getting up just for this. My wife, gets up around... Well, she gets up before I do, but I get up around 7. So I've had a half an hour to be awake. Other than that, it's a beautiful day so far, man. High 60s, coronavirus hasn't hit here yet. So, I mean, we're all good.
I'm black from starting fires this morning, and I have my 8 ounces of espresso to cause my, it's good for my heart attack. I have my Spike energy drink, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to get these fuckers to sponsor me because I buy so many of these. This thing, it contains a lot of good stuff actually, but the main one is methylcobalamin, which is good for your mind. So
we'll have to talk more about that one off air because I am interested in that. I have to be careful. You know, I have some issues now, and I have to make sure I don't have sugar. And of course, there's salt, right? Salt's not good for you. And so I've been drinking, and I'm a big soda drinker, always have been. I'm a lot more into water nowadays. But a product that I found is Zevia, and this is a soda without any sugar, without any artificial flavors, without any carbohydrates, without any sodium, without anything, basically. And all of their sodas come in, they're all crystal clear. Like if you pour them in a glass, they all look exactly the same. But this has been pretty good. It still has caffeine. Some of them don't. Some of them are caffeine free, but that one has caffeine. That's what's been getting me off of soda anyway. So I drink water most of the day, but if I'm gonna, you getting that like, ooh, I could really use a soda right now. That's what I go for, and I feel better about that one.
So I feel really good about this because there's no calories, no carbs, and no sugar.
Nice.
They're fantabulous. They're not like so caffeinated that you trip out, but I love them. I also do water. See, I've already had 32 ounces of water this morning.
Nice.
In my Nalgene bottle. Hopefully they'll sponsor me because Nalgene's a good brand. Nice. And then of course the brand that if anybody follows me on Instagram knows that I pimp the shit out of this. This is Jim Stepani's Gym pre-workout, post-workout, and
protein powder.
Pro Gym. Yeah, this is a post-workout. And the reason why I like Gym so much, and nobody's watching, so I'll tell you anyways, is because there's no proprietary blends. No, zero. So everything that he puts in here is on the back of the label. So there's no bullshit. I'm not selling you a proprietary blend where I can just put on the label that, oh, I have it in there, but I don't tell you exactly how much because my proprietary blend protects that.
Oh, you usually do post-workout gummy bears, the wife is saying.
Yes, sir. And that's my and I forgot the name of the brand of those, but yeah, you're allowed to have 8 gummy bears after workout to help absorb some of the stuff that's in the post-workout. So
see, she's on the other social media. If you don't do it on YouTube, I don't know about it, but she's all over the other social medias. That's cool.
So glutamine, citrulline, beta-alanine, which is a Kerosene brand, L-carnitine, and betaine, taurine, leucine, L-isoleucine, and L-violin and piperine to absorb the stuff, right?
Nice.
But if you take the gummy bears, you can also have pixie sticks, Gatorade, something that has fast digesting carbs in it. So I just take the gummy bears because it helps all that shit that I just read off to you absorb into your muscles. Not that I'm a specimen of Sylvester Stallone character, but
no, I get it, man. Yeah, that's
at least
awesome.
6 days a week.
I have to be careful with what I work out with. Sorry, I can do cardio, to a point, as long as I don't get close to passing out. Walking obviously is the best one for me, to be honest. But like lifting weights, I got to be really careful with that stuff, which sucks because I had finally had gotten enough income to where we could afford a personal trainer. And I'm like, oh man, I want to do it now, boy. I got a personal trainer, I got a nutritionist, I'm ready to go. And then, God just like, nope. Rethink that one, bro. Yeah.
He's just saving you for a later date so you can kick your ass later.
Yeah.
We gotta get you a heart transplant or something.
Actually, it would be a lung thing.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry.
It's weird. I don't even get it, but that's all right. And as far as nobody's watching, bull crap, dude. We have one viewer now, but if you keep these on YouTube, we're still talking to people who watch this later on. So,
well, yeah, oh yeah. I mean, I'm yeah, for the live, I only see 2 people, but
yeah,
as long as we hit somebody,
we'll get there. A lot of people don't know what elderberry is, dude, and I was one of them. I had no idea. And like yesterday, I'm asking you, what the hell is a tincture? You know, all these terms that I haven't heard except for maybe in a like in an old cowboy film with a quack, snake oil salesman, like, here, get your tinctures. You know, that's basically my amount of knowledge on that, and I might not be alone on that.
Right. Well, we'll cover that today. I got a bunch of stuff ready to go. I am prepared today somewhat. So.
All right, hold on a sec. I'll be right back.
Okay. Come on, being silly. I have 3 1-gallon bags of elderberry in the freezer. Yes, I keep those too. Yep, just me, Killdeer Survival. Hey, what's going on? Everybody counts. Everybody counts. It takes an army, not just one person. So, Killdeer Survival's joined us.
Good morning, Killdeer.
So
I'm starting to feel like I'm sorry. Go ahead.
My bad.
No. I was just saying at least there's somebody else out there that knows what elderberry is.
We're gonna try to cover it today and get it all, everybody educated with our backwoods knowledge. We're not doing any distillation or infusing today, but we'll. So, did you grow your own, or did you pick them wild? Hello, Miss Stinger.
He said hello.
Hello and goodbye.
She said goodbye. Sorry.
I made jelly out of them. Okay.
Jelly. Now I love making jelly. When we were really into the canning thing, going whole hog, one of the things was I made jelly out of like produce. I didn't grow the produce because I hadn't had a garden at that point, but that was a lot of fun and experience. A lot of work too.
Yeah. So elderberry is really easy to grow. It's a shallow rooted plant, so you can grow it in just a corner of as you would a flower, because it does produce flowers. And the one I use is the American version. It's a vigorous, fast-growing shrub. Excuse me. It gets about 10 feet in height, and it'll spread for anywhere from 6 to 8 feet, depending on, the nutrients that are available in the soil to it. So, decent soil, and it'll grow pretty good. Needs a lot of room to grow, and it's not really considered a landscaping plant due to the fact that it is such a wide spreader. But it makes a pretty cool screen, except for the fall when all the leaves fall off of it. So it grows like these purple and bluish clusters, kind of like the picture that I posted up for the cover of this video. And bluish blackberries, and they usually in late summer is when you can pick them, but you have to beat the birds to them. So I grow a lot of them just so I can beat the birds, and because they'll eat them too. Turkeys love them, so I plant them in my food forest to bring in the wildlife there too. You could use them to make jelly, preserves, wine, and pretty much you can make the tinctures and stuff, which we'll cover here in a little bit. But they're also an excellent food source for wildlife, like I said, and they tolerate any type of soil, pretty much, and they're wet tolerant because I have quite a few of them planted in my wetlands area where the Canadian geese come in every year and rest and have their babies and stuff. So they're good through zone 3 through 9, and that's the USDA zone. You can look that up online. Just type up you can put in your zip code and type in what USDA zone am I in, and it'll come up and say, whatever, 3 through 9, 3A, 3B, 5A, 5B, so on and so forth. So, and I'm pretty sure that elderberry is legal to grow everywhere in the continental United States. Some states don't allow you to import certain plants via, say, like a bare root versus a seed. Some places you can get seeds, some places you can just get bare roots. So
Nice.
So that's your quick introduction to the the American elderberry. And I cannot say the name. The name is Sambucus candidus, something like that. I'm not a botanist, so I can't help you with that. All right, so over here we have Lisa. Good morning. Yes, elderberry jam is amazing. My mother-in-law had them by our garage. Yes, we have them everywhere. I plant them everywhere. I cut and spread them as much as possible, especially now that we make so much stuff out of them: tincture, jam, jelly, syrup, and all that other good stuff. So I need to get some started in my yard. Yeah, actually, Musser Forests, musserforest.com. Let me see. MUSSER forest.com. Let me see if I can copy and paste this and share it. Right now, they're sold out, but if you keep an eye out, because everybody, if you don't know, you have to order them early. So here's the place where I order all mine from. They're currently sold out, but they are awesome. If you keep track of your receipts, they will replace them for free if they don't grow. And they're just a great place to buy all kinds of stuff. I'm probably kicking myself, and I'm going to kick myself in the ass for telling everybody, because this was my secret stash to get my stuff. But now I can propagate my own stuff by cutting. So, but here's a great place. Killdeer is in Missouri. Daily Immune Helper. Yes. I can't say it either. Oh yeah. The biological name or whatever Sambucus. Now I think Sambucus or Sambucus, however it's pronounced. I believe that is the same kind of. I may be wrong. Yeah, I'll just hold off on that. I'll have to do some more research on that. But I thought it was something to do with like the acai berry was a Sambucus berry too. Have you ever tried to germinate your own? No. Give me one just second. I gotta take.
So while he's taking his phone call, a lot of people don't know. I mean, like, I don't even really know all the benefits of elderberry versus like huckleberry or blueberry. Like, I know it's a dark berry, and those usually have a whole bunch of antioxidants in them. But what's so great about this berry versus another berry kind of thing? And there are different uses that he talks about and how to make those, which I'm interested in, especially in jam and jelly. But I don't have the stuff here, so maybe question on can you grow it in the city? Because he said it doesn't take a lot of soil, or not deep soil, but it does take a lot of room. So that might not be something I can do here. So maybe know somebody who's doing it and trade with them. Like I can have a small garden. I can make sauerkraut. I love making sauerkraut, pickles, all the salty foods that I'm not even allowed to eat anymore. But I could trade those off for maybe some elderberry jam. And it's definitely very interesting. I'm also curious on how much of this that you lose to wildlife, because of course, if you don't plant enough, you're going to lose all of it to wildlife. And where is that ratio? How much do you want to sacrifice? Is that 10%, 20% to wildlife? And obviously he's wanting to give it to wildlife so that he knows where wildlife is coming to snack. So therefore, if he needs some protein in his diet, he can take that out. Killdeer thought about cough syrup, but I don't drink anymore. It takes vodka in it. Yeah, now I know Irish USMC Vet actually makes his tinctures or anyway are alcohol, and I think he ferments it. I could be wrong on that. The jelly tastes like wild grape flavor. Ooh, I do like grape. I mean, grape jelly was my flavor back in the day when I ate jelly a lot. I have to watch my sugar now. So I have excellent books on this. So later tonight, I'll comment on this video with helpful information. Nice. Thank you, Lisa. I always like having people who know a little bit about this come in to see a video on these subjects. A lot of times people that know, let's say somebody knows everything there is to know about elderberries, or at least they think they do, right? They won't even bother because they already know that information. Or sometimes you'll get the ones that, come in to educate everybody on how much they know, not exactly what they know. So I appreciate anybody coming in here and spreading knowledge. I think that's exactly what he's going for here. They're usually plenty. Grape with a twang. Nice. When we did blueberry jam, I might have done it wrong because it definitely had a sour kick to it. Hey, I think you're back, huh?
Yeah, kids. Somebody always has a problem.
Yeah.
You have to call them.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to start thinking of things to talk about while you're gone from now on, just in case. I'm like, elderberries. What do I know? Not much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what do you want to talk about? You want to talk about the tincture, syrup? What do we want to talk about today?
Well, I know we were talking a little bit about Killdeer was talking about he thought about the cough syrup, but he doesn't drink anymore, and it takes vodka in it. And then that got me onto the subject of what you actually put in your tinctures, because I know your tinctures, you said, has some alcohol in it. Do you add alcohol to that, or do you ferment your own for that? Or can you not say? Okay.
You have to have a law to do alcohol in some states, so we'll just leave it at you buy yours. So elderberry tincture is dried elderberry flowers, or you can use the elderberry and 80 or 100 proof vodka. You can also use moonshine and other things for your tincture, but basically for one of the tinctures, you just put the dried flowers in the jar and cover it completely with vodka, and you shake it well and keep it in a cool, dark place for at least a month. And then you shake it every day. Get in there and shake it every day. So I put it by my coffee. So whenever I have coffee, in the mornings, I can just shake it up. And then you strain it through the muslin or a, what's the other stuff that you strain stuff through? I can't think of it right now. Like the cheesecloth? Or you could strain it through a really fine thread strainer. And then you can just bottle it. Put it in a clean jar. I give mine away, so I put it in the 2-ounce bar jars. So I give that stuff away. And then you take 2 milliliters or 2/5 of a teaspoon 2 to 3 times a day of that. So that's the non-alcohol, or that's the alcoholic version. So the syrup like you could put on your pancakes and all that other good jazz. That one is pretty much a family recipe, but I'll give you the general gist of it. So see, the syrup, actually, Rosemary Gladstar has a really good one copied here. But Rosemary Gladstar's Herbal Recipes for Vibrant Health gives you the benefits of the elderberry, but it also has benefits of the honey. So using local honey is preferable, but not necessary. And you're at the first sign of cold, flu, viral infection, respiratory illness, or smaller doses of the syrup for flu or for prevention. So you start out with 1 cup fresh or a 1/2 cup dried elderberry and 3 cups of water and 1 cup of local raw honey. You bring the berries and the water to a simmer, reduce heat, and simmer for 30 to 45 minutes. Then you're going to mash the berries. Now, it's important to remove the stems, all the stems, because all the other plant is poison.
Oh, nice.
So you don't want to get into this. I mean, in this part, because you're not cooking them, right? If you cook them into jelly and jam, you're cooking all that down, so it's not really that detrimental to it. In this point, it is mash the berries, strain, allow to cool before you add the honey to the liquid. Mix well and discard or compost the mashed berries. Now your chickens can eat them, and you can put them, in your compost pile or whatever. Everyone needs cheesecloth in the kitchen. Yes, we do. I can't ever buy enough of it. Every time I see it on clearance at Walmart, my wife's like, "Why do you keep buying that?"
Killdeer is asking, what is your shelf life?
Jar,
I'm guessing.
And store the. Say again.
Killdeer is asking, what about your shelf life on your what are we talking? Jam? Not jam.
The syrup.
The syrup. That's it.
It'll keep at least 3 months so make one small, depending on family size, make one small batch, like what I was just reading there to you. Make one small batch, and you can pretty much use it up in 3 months. I put it in oatmeal, put it in coffee, I put it in just about anything and everything just to have. Cough syrup. Cough syrup, actually, there's another recipe for cough syrup, but honey in the stuff you can use. It's a cough syrup too, which I got some more information I'll cover on that. But for children under 1, you're not supposed to give them honey. So you may have to substitute maple syrup, which also has its health benefits. But you can substitute the maple syrup for the honey if you have to give it to children, small children. So. And then the alternate to the honey and just the elderberry is alcohol-based elderberry syrup, which is the same process I just explained. But you add 7 cups of elderberry juice, 3 cups dried, 8 3/4 cups of honey or sugar, which I don't like to use sugar, and then 3 cups of 80 proof to 100 proof vodka. So that's the alternative alcohol-based version. I think I froze up. Did I freeze up?
Yeah, you froze up.
How much of that did you miss?
No, well, we can hear you. You're not moving on your screen.
Oh, that's all right. I'm probably not moving anyways. So then the tincture that I make is 1 pint or 2 cups of fresh, or a half pint of dried elderberries and 1 pint of the 100 proof vodka. And you wash and sort the elderberries, toss the stems or any moldy berries. I like to float mine, and it kind of, the bad ones sink. So I think that's the way it goes. I should have wrote that down. But anyways, you'll tell, like the bad ones, it's like I can't remember now. I did it in October, November. But you'll tell because some of them will do one thing and most of them will, I think, float. So I should have that wrote down somewhere, but I don't have it with me right now. Anyways,
do you want the floaters?
I don't remember now. I think the floaters are the bad ones, but I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember now off the top of my head.
I didn't even know that maple syrup had any health benefits. I thought that was pure badness for you.
Real maple syrup from sugar maple trees.
Yeah, I get that. Like, obviously, Mrs. Buttersworth is not healthy. Yeah. Now, but recently, before I cut out a lot of carbs, which that's a carb, so I had to cut that out. But before that, I had switched over to real maple syrup because, even if at the time I was like, it's still not going to be good for me, but it's going to be less harmful than all the stuff that's in, like Mrs. Buttersworth or whatever other fake syrup that's out there. And I really enjoyed the flavor of it for sure. And I don't think I'd ever really had it, or at least not that I was aware of back in the day, because it's not cheap compared to the processed stuff. But yeah, that's news to me that there's any health benefit to it at all, other than that you're just not putting poisons in your body with another syrup.
Right. So the elderberry syrup that I told you, the one I just honey, use that as a syrup for like I said, your oatmeal, your pancakes. I mean, you can use that 1 quart jar. So if you make 1 quart, then it only lasts for 3 months. Now, of course, I use mine till it's gone. I don't, but it's recommended. You only use it, save it for 3 months. But I use mine till it's gone. So if we don't eat, if we don't empty the full quart jar in 3 months or 4 months, I still use it. So because it still has a good flavor.
Now, do elderberries put off fruit all year round? Sorry.
No. They're just a fall crop.
Okay.
But I mean, they're profuse. Like they're profuse. I think I did a video on it a while back when we were picking them because we were playing dumb, and my buddy, he's like, "Oh, I don't know if these are elderberry or not," and we were just comparing elderberry to. Oh man, I can't think of that other one now. But there was we did a video on it, my buddy, because I call him the expert, and we were just BSing around because oh man, I wish what's his face was in here because I'm really bad with names. But anyways, we did a video on it. It's in my video list somewhere, and we were just comparing elderberry to another berry that everybody says that they look alike, but they don't. So.
Gotcha.
And good morning, Bobby. Bobby showed up today. And then the elixir. So we have a tincture. We have a couple of tinctures. You can also do a tea with some of the flowers. The elderberry tincture with the leaves, we already covered. The elderberry syrup, which we covered. And the alcohol-based elderberry syrup. And now I'll cover the tincture. What was that? Yeah, no, wait, hold on. Okay, already covered the tincture. The elixir is the one that you use brandy with. So the best way to get every bit of the therapeutic properties of elderberries, since it involves no heating or freezing, preserving most of the vitamin C and flavonoids, alcohol does the best job of extracting every bit of the helpful components of elderberries. And the dosage is so that the amount of alcohol consumed is negligible. And if you use to avoid alcohol, you can make a vinegar-based, which is called oxmel recipe instead. But I mean, if you don't like vinegar, you're not going to put vinegar in a whole lot of stuff. But unless you make salad dressing, we made salad dressing out of it. But so on this one for the elixir, you'll take fresh elderberries, washed, frozen, and lose some of their benefits if they're frozen. And then you put them in brandy and local honey, and you fill a pint or quart jar with fresh elderberries, filled a third way with dried, or fill it almost all the way to the top with fresh. Pour the honey halfway up the jar, stir to coat the honey, and then fill the rest of the way with brandy and shake it up to mix. Put the lid on the jar and place it in a dark place. Shake it when you go to get your coffee. Shake it every day. And then strain and press the berries to extract all the juice. Discard the berries. You can use the berries at this point to make muffins out of them or something because you squeezed all the good stuff out of them that you wanted. And then put the elixir in a cool, dry place. But I store it in, like I said, the little medicine droppers, blue or brown. And then give it to my family and friends. So, and you just take a quarter dropper or a half dropper every 2 to 3 hours at the first sign of illness, or a half teaspoon or a teaspoon in a cup of warm water. And then there you go. Yeah. So this has actually been recognized by the German Commission E. A lot of these things I'm talking about. And so now a lot of people know what the German Commission E is, but it's Germany's herbal regulatory body. And their findings are published in English, so you can check them out. Have to sprechen Sie Deutsch. And you can go there and check them out. But since the 1970s, Germany's drug regulations have required the system to register herb products. The system requires development of information on how the herbal products work and the chemistry and the pharmacology. How well they work, including clinical trials like we do here with fake drugs, synthetic drugs, and safety information based on their long history of use and any new scientific data. Anyone who's done even cursory research into herbal supplement or a product has seen references findings by the German Commission E. Few know what the German Commission, what the Commission is, and how it's doing the work. But by all rights, our own regulatory agency ought to do the same thing, and for the American consumer. If you're interested in medicinal herbs, and you probably are, I'm just reading out of a book here, which is really important. But our relatively unknown group, the deal influence the choices available to you. So German Commission E, if you want to check out any of the herbs that we're going to talk about, and because they've been keeping it since 1970. So
nice. Yeah, I love the herbal stuff.
And it's not the end all. Like if you have a severe infection, go get penicillin or whatever, But
right, it's something to go with it.
Yeah, it's but and this has been used before doctors. This stuff was used. I mean, before you had to go to the doctor to be considered a sane person.
I mean, if you do it at the first sign of illness, right?
Right.
And that helps you get over it faster, and that then prevents you from having to go to the hospital and getting, modern day medicine. That's only a good thing, man, because there's so many other things in modern day medicine and, manipulations and, is it really beneficial? Does it have more side effects than it has benefits? All those things. Whereas, anything you can do with herbal first. And even if, like, I have things that I'm going to have to take pills for, there's just no way out of it. But I'm looking at herbal stuff that's not going to affect my medications that I'm on, but maybe make it an easier time for them to work or whatever like that. And this is definitely one of those things. So I think a lot of people are seeing the benefit now in herbal medicines and cures or whatever, because that's been around since the dawn of time. That's what God gave us to work with, and then we thought, hey, we can do it better, and modern medicine was born.
Well, you can't tax that. Like you can't tax.
Yeah.
Like they want to tax you. They want to tax you to plant a tree in your yard. They want to tax you if you plant a shrub. I mean any of that, because essentially what you're doing is you're affecting your own personal life. I mean, some people just plant stuff for looks, but majority of stuff that you plant is actually good for you. You just don't even know it. So there's some stuff that's bad for you that you can take and it'll actually mess you up. But I mean, There's plenty. Like I have an article saved here somewhere that I was going to bring up about certain trees. So there's a lot of good beneficial trees that and shrubs in your landscape that you wouldn't ever expect, right? So the bayberry, which is like a little shrub that the people plant. So you can go do your own research on some of these, because I don't have a lot of information on them, but just for reference, there's the bayberry, the black birch, the black haw, the black walnut, the blueberry, which most people know, a chasta tree, a cramp bark, and elderberry, which we're talking about today, ginkgo, like the ginkgo biloba stuff. That's a tree you can grow in your yard, and you can get the same benefits as the supplement. Green tea, depending on your area, or if you have a greenhouse. Hawthorn, which is really good for the heart, and I can read some of that because I got an article for that. Linden, mimosa, olive, Oregon grapefruit, pine trees, which we're going to cover, prickly ash, red root, or New Jersey tea, sassafras, which if you don't know, you dig up the root, and it tastes like root beer. You put it in your mouth and chew on it. Done that when I was kids. Siberian ginseng, which is not the same thing as Panax ginseng, so that's a good one to look into. Slippery elm, spruce, sweet fern, willow, wild cherry, witch hazel, which a lot of people do know, and yellow root. I think yellow root, and there was another one that's on the endangered species list because they've over harvested it. But that's another thing. Everybody's clearing out parking lots to make for your Walmarts and big box stores, and you're tearing all these things up. But what you're essentially doing is destroying wild medicine, wild plants and stuff. And they're not replanting it. So, and if they find it works, then like mayapple, for example, it's a nuisance plant for me, but I dig it up and sell it because they say it works for genital herpes. I think you make a paste or something out of it, and it works for genital herpes. Now it'll kill you if you eat it, but just some random.
Yeah, there's definitely a market for that depending on where you live.
Yeah, I mean, but you sell it to a suppliers like you would ginseng, yellow root, blood root, golden seal, and all that stuff. So, back
Lots
on
of
that.
comments coming in.
Okay, so I should stop
Yeah.
and read. What?
Well, there's
Okay,
a lot of comments. They're talking.
Okay.
So,
All right. Go ahead and ask your questions now. I'm focused on the comments instead of rambling.
well, Lisa says she can't take enough notes. I'm assuming she's a female, and she loves the stream.
You
So
cannot
the great,
assume anything,
right,
Mr. Stinger.
right nowadays I can't assume, but I can assume that after the stream is over, you're more than welcome to go back and replay it and catch anything you missed. That'll be nice. The redneck prepper says hello and was talking about he's got a buddy who grows elderberries and sells them for either 25 gallons at $100 or 25 pounds for $100. He's not sure which. But those are the ones that I noticed that I thought we'd touch on a little bit.
Yeah, you can rewatch it. We'll leave it posted up. The only thing we take out is the blooper reels and the yes, hot female is what Lisa said.
Yeah.
And then
I won't tell my wife.
Yes, no, we can't tell our wives that. So back on topic.
Yes, sorry about that.
Oh no, you're fine. So do we want to cover, what do you think we should, do you want to cover the elderberry some more? I mean, I can email or not
using the elderberry. I mean, we know now that it's good for if you're feeling like a cold.
Mm-hmm.
What about the flu? Is it like the same?
It's not flu. You can't claim anything technically,
right,
because but it
gotcha.
it does say for cold and flu. So in all the books I've read, about it. Let's see here. Echinacea is another good one that you can include in it.
Yes, I actually know about echinacea. Right, my mom was big into herbs growing up, and that was her favorite one. Right, as soon as you had the sniffles, she'd pump you full of echinacea.
Well, there's two good kinds that are really, really good. Like everybody knows of the Echinacea purpurea, which is the purple coneflower. But there's also another one, and I have it wrote down here somewhere. Mushrooms are actually a really good. Certain mushrooms are immunity boosting, and they're actually using them to fight. They're trying to use them to fight cancer and all kinds of crazy stuff. For my information that I looked up, but I didn't actually do a full information search to put on here today. But Echinacea purpurea contains chemical constituents similar to those of the root. The seeds are widely available from nurseries, blah, blah, blah. I read something really interesting about it, but I don't know what it is. Oh, Echinacea augustifolia. They're harder to find, but the seeds germinate less readily. So if you have a problem with them spreading, you can use that other Echinacea augustifolius. But I mean, you can't really. Who cares if they spread, right? You just mow them down if you don't want them, right? But the root's what you're after. But they say the seeds are good for cold and flu too. So some of the herbs for cold and flu are, of course, Echinacea, which we're talking about. Sage, which nobody really knows a whole lot about. I mean, unless you've done some research on it.
Or you cook a lot.
But did you know it was actually for cold and flu?
No.
Yeah.
I did not.
Yeah. It's salvia. It's good to see. Let me scroll down here. It has antibiotic and antiseptic properties, and it's been prized for treating inflammation in the mouth and throat, including gingivitis and canker sores. Let's see. Standard medicinal tea for gastrointestinal diseases and night sweats, as well as a topical rinse for inflammation. A lot of herbalists use sage in their prescriptions for people with menopause, hot flash, and night sweats. For canker sores, sore throat, and tonsils, you can make a tea, TEA, with 2 teaspoons of dried sage leaves. And you can always use fresh, but you got to use more if you use fresh of anything. 1 cup of boiling water and a dash of salt. Another herb that's good for cold and flu is horehound. like the old Whorehound candy. Have you ever heard of that?
No, that one I have not.
It's Whorehound.
It sounds like a spooky candy you get at Halloween.
It's HORE instead of WHORE. HOUND.
Right.
So the technical name for it, or the biological name, is Merobium vulgara, VULGARE. But it's an old-fashioned herb. It's actually a plant that you grow, and it's a throat-soothing herb, so kind of like honey.
Okay.
But we used to have it as candy as kids. We just thought it was candy.
That's the best kind of cough candy there is, yeah.
Right? Doesn't taste like crap.
Yeah. I don't know how many times I'd raid that and not have any cough medicine for later.
So if you happen to get sick, you can provide profound relief with the stuff that I'm going to tell you. So fighting flu and colds, if you happen to be down with a viral or bacterial infection, herbs can provide a lot of relief. The following herbs, including elderberry, echinacea, golden seal, and androgryphus, are some of the favorites.
Golden seal I've heard of and used before.
That one is one. I think that's also on the endangered species list because it's over harvested. Now, let me pause here for a minute and see what we got going on over here. I want to start a seed society. Anyone interested in helping? Well, we're not starting. I'm not starting a seed society, but we're starting a learning farm, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But
yeah, talk about that for a little bit because that's really interesting. I think there's people out there that would absolutely love to hear about that. So I'll hush and let you talk.
Well, so my goal and dream is to start. I have picked out some land, getting 150 plus acres, and on a smaller portion of the property, I'm going to set up small, tiny houses, essentially in shipping containers. And so in those shipping containers, we're going to build, nice accommodations, just like a house or Airbnb, but with 1 to 2 bedrooms. And on a quarter acre of land, we're going to set them, and then we're going to section, as many as we can, 15, 20, whatever we can get on there. And then we're going to house the employees for our 150 acre farm across the road in those places, but also give you a place to do your own soul searching, gardening, learn your own organic stuff and produce your own food there. And, you'll be working for us during the day yeah, it's hard to explain without actually breaking down the whole business plan. But basically, we're going to put people up, and you'll have your own quarter acre plot and a place to stay. You'll have to go through a background check and all that crazy jazz. So we're not housing any questionable serial killers or anything like that. But once you go through all your checks and you want to come on board, we'll have to require a 1 to 2 year commitment. And during that 1 to 2 year, you can stay in one of the tiny homes and live off the quarter acre land that you're provided. And then you'll just have to do your regular work at the big farm until, you decide to move on and start your own farm. So we're just going to try that out and see how that works. I mainly want to do it for veterans, but I'm open to anybody that's willing to learn and wants to learn, because as we all know, that if you don't want to do something, it's just a pain in the ass and you're not going to care about it. So, And let's see what we're saying in the comments. Somebody says, sounds like a hippie farm. It is not a hippie farm. I assure you, it's not a commune.
That's exactly what I said too.
It is not,
to be honest. But you do have a GoFundMe for that, right? Or a Kickstarter? I forget which one it is.
I'm debating on which service to go with, but yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that. It's not a hippie farm because we're not going to use strictly, we're going to use farming.
And I've seen these container tiny houses that you're talking about. You showed me what they'll look like. And because without seeing pictures, you think, oh my God, you're going to live in a freaking container.
Right.
Nobody wants to do that. But no, these look like a proper house. I don't know if it's a drywall or what, but it looks like what you would see in a normal house.
Yeah, I put a lot of thought into it because initially I was just going to do it for my children. I have 6 children, and so that they would have a place to go stay when they came down to the main farm from our current residence. So, but then I thought, well, hey, there's all these farmers or aspiring farmers that are out looking for a place to basically set a farm. But maybe you can't afford to set up a farm. Maybe you want to learn before you try to set up a farm. Because maybe you have no experience at all, and you just want to, you don't have children or whatever, and you just want to go learn on how to be a farm and see if it's for you. But would you rather do it at somebody else's farm and see if you're really interested in it, or would you rather put in that $150,000 and then just to go bust? So I learned this through a lot of hard trial and error. Even though I farmed as a child, there was still a lot of trial and error, but we also didn't do a lot of the permaculture stuff that I do now. So shipping container is hot and cold. Well, see, we got that figured out too, because we're going to go ahead and coat the inside with spray foam. We have a veteran owned company that's going to come in and spray them with the foam, so they'll be extra insulated. They're really nice. I would live in one myself. Actually, whenever I first moved to the property, once we get everything up and rolling, I'm going to actually stay in one of them. So it's not like I'm not above it, because that's one of my big things. Like, I won't ask you to pick up trash if I'm not going to do it myself. Even my kids know that. Like, they're like, oh, Dad's out here picking up stuff. And now if I send you to do a task, and I'm not going to stand there and micromanage you either. So that's another reason why I said veterans, because, I still can't find the pictures here. I'm looking. But yeah, I hope I'm going to put out a GoFundMe and see if we can get everything funded, because right now, as it stands, I'm going to provide all the other stuff, but I'm going to need help purchasing the land quickly, anyways, to get it quickly, because I've secured some land that's really cheap, and in order to make all this work and stay under budget, I'm going to have to have some help funding. But now, really want to show you.
Killdeer is leaving, so thank you, Killdeer, for stopping by.
Yep, thank you. Actually, we're looking at geothermal heating, just because we're going to have the well diggers out there, and they can punch down a couple hundred feet and just pull geothermal for them.
That's a nice renewable,
yeah,
cost-effective.
I'm not 100% tree hugger, but I'm like, I want to make sure that they're economical, because I don't want to have somebody there and then they're paying I'm paying $1 billion for you to stay there, and it's not worth anybody's time or money if we're all struggling. So
I'm all about going green as long as it saves me green. I've had my own place with solar panels, and we were actually looking at getting geothermal, and I was looking at other ways to get out, because we still had to have propane piped in. Not piped in, but brought in, right? And that was really expensive. But anything you can do that's off grid in that situation is just money that you don't have to spend. Now, if you want to think that you're saving the planet, that's a benefit for you as well. A lot of people want to do that. But just for me, I wasn't about that as much as I was about, not being holding on a service. I don't want to have to worry about a water bill. I don't want to have to worry about an electric bill, and then I had the propane bill that I was trying to get rid of. So just being free from all that, geothermal is a great idea, because that eliminates electricity to heat or gas to heat, and air conditioning. And depending on if you're running totally off grid, like I was with only solar panels, air conditioning in the summer is a big problem when it comes to running off of batteries. So, that's why I really I appreciate geothermal quite a bit. I wish I had been able to get it in.
And of course, I can't find this because I think I sent it to you though. Because we bought the plans off of a guy out of Australia, I think. But
I do remember seeing the plans. You probably did send them to me, but how long ago that was, and
yeah,
I don't know,
well,
dude. You send me a lot of stuff,
I mean, I have a business phone and a house phone, and so
Yeah.
like trying to find pictures because they're not synced and meshed because I don't want them to be.
Well, we could bring this up in another chat as well, too.
Yeah. I'm gonna find it in just 10 seconds, so hopefully.
Okay.
Or not, but we can keep talking.
Yeah, Lisa's heading out. See you, Lisa.
Okay.
Or actually, no. Lisa's not heading out. Sorry. Killdeer was saying goodbye to Lisa. There we go. Sorry.
Thanks for stopping, Killdeer. Sorry, we got off on a tangent here, but whenever I actually post up the actual GoFundMe or whatever, or Kickstarter, whatever we want to decide to do, I'll definitely post pictures of what. Okay, so here's some of. I think I found them. If we can see them. All right.
Well, you're still frozen, so maybe you might have to reset.
I'm frozen?
Well, yeah, I told you. Nobody can see you moving.
Oh, since earlier?
Yeah.
Holy crap. Why did you tell? Okay, hold on.
I told you.
I know, but I thought it was unfrozen now.
No. It's been frozen this whole time. Yeah, so he'll be right back. Hopefully this will fix it.
Can you see me now?
No, I see a dark screen.
What in the world is going on? You got to be kidding me.
You working on an iPhone 4 or what?
I have no Apple products, man. Hold on. All right, can you hear me now?
I can hear you just fine.
No,
I can't see you.
Can you see me again?
No.
Damn it, man.
Yeah, that's BS. I don't know. Is there even a screen share option on this platform? Or how do we supposedly do that?
I'm working on it right now, but.
All right. I mean, maybe you could email me again and I can then turn my camera around and show it on my iPad if you want to do that.
Okay, I can.
That'd be really easy for me to do.
This is bogus, man.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me try to leave again and then.
All right. Yeah, these are pretty cool though.
Hello.
Hey.
Now do you see me?
Nope.
All right. Technical difficulties.
All right. Just email me the stuff and I'll show it on the iPad.
Okay. You I can't see you now. You're green on my screen.
Am I?
Yeah.
Well, I can see myself on YouTube, so they'll see it.
Okay. All righty then. So, moving on, since
your shit is messed up, bro.
More technical difficulties, man. What's going on?
Yeah.
This is why we're doing the week, so get this all worked out, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll have this running by like a smooth oiled machine in
a month,
or in a couple more months or years, and then they'll change it all up on us, and it'll matter for nothing.
Right. So I sent you the one for the 1 bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
But it can be scaled to 2. So
did you just send that to my Gmail?
No, sorry, I sent it to your text message, but I can send it to your Gmail. I'm sorry.
No, actually, if you could send it to my Proton mail, that'd be better because
okay,
I don't get text messages on my iPad, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, I don't. Actually,
Let me see. Proton, man.
My iPad is usually offline for the most part.
Oh, come on, really? This is not working out for me today.
All right. Is it a link or something, or is it an actual picture?
No,
I can email it to myself.
It's here. I got it. Let me.
All right.
So, anyways,
Yeah.
the goal is to have get 200,000. I know that sounds like a large number, but that's for 150 plus acres. That's a lot of land. So, and then every 30,000, I think, we can put one of these shipping container homes on the property, complete with all your amenities that you would have at your own home. So, and that means geothermal heat, running water, all that good stuff. So,
Nice.
So for $30,000, we're going to put a home for you to stay for one. I mean, you could stay as long as you want to, depending on the contract. So that's up to you. But most people just use it as a pivot point to where they figure out whether or not they want to become a farmer or what aspect of farming they want to go to. So, and there's actually,
I think that's a great opportunity. As you said, that's, there's a lot of times that I want to get into something, and then I start getting into it and I realize, I wasn't as interested in that as I thought I would be. So I agree. I think that's a great way to figure out if you're going to be interested in something or not.
and only real investment you'll have is your time. So, well, I'll be. So I've been sharing stuff all this time. I thought I was showing pictures of it, but I'm not. I am special today. All right. Let's see. I can send it to you now. Attachment. I mean, it's really it could be just because it's raining and the poor internet of why I haven't done this stuff in a long time anyway. So, all right, let me know if you got that there, Mr. Stinger. Hello, hello, hello. Hello. I think it's just the weather, man. We're having crappy weather those days. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you just fine.
All right. So that's another problem with living in rural America. I have crappy internet.
Yeah. That was, I had the same problem when I was living in rural myself. Okay. I got the email and I'm pulling it up now. Let me go ahead and just put this down for a second so I can better do this. Okay. So this is the shipping container. This would be the bathroom area. And maybe, can you see my screen, Irish?
No, I can't see anything, man. You're green on mine.
Okay.
Sorry.
So right now we're looking at the bathroom. There's actually a tub. I'm guessing that's also a shower, a sink. Just above that, there's like 3 rooms. One says mech. One, I believe, is a closet. And I don't know what the middle square is.
Okay, so that'd be your stack on washer and dryer. I have the same picture, so I can kind of walk along with you.
Yeah. So. Okay. Then moving up from that looks to be the bedroom. Right?
Correct.
And looks reasonably big. Is that a queen size, a double, or what?
Yeah, I mean, you could put a full size, king size in there according to the plan. So,
all right, moving up north, looks like we have the living room area, and it has an office on the bottom right. And I'm trying to make out what is, the top right, that's the couch, right?
Yeah, the top right's a couch. The bottom right is the sink and countertop area, and that loops around toward the bedroom where the refrigerator and the microwave and, whatever other amenities you have in there would be.
All right, so like a stove or anything that would be just on the south side or on the bottom side of this
yeah,
living room area?
Right next to the bedroom area.
Okay.
So that little kick out there on the left, that little white wall kick out is where the refrigerator would sit.
Okay, I see that, yeah.
And then you'd have a little bit of counter space, and then there'd be your stovetop, your range, and then the counter would go around, and your sink would be right there. That's what's visible on the right-hand side wall there as you're looking at the picture.
All right.
And then
I'm just panning back down a little bit.
Moving past the sink, there's a pantry area so you could store any canned foods or whatever you want to put in there. So you have place.
Is that on the left or the right-hand side of the sink?
It's the north. It's the north side of the sink, I guess you would say, according to the picture.
Yeah,
right before you get to the couch.
Gotcha.
So, and then of course there's the couch, and there's some other variations of it. We've got some to where the bedroom door is in between the refrigerator and stuff, but the refrigerator would be placed elsewhere, and then the hallway would become a closet. And stuff. So there's some different variations of it where you can make a 2-bedroom one or whatever. So
gotcha.
This sucks that my screen is not working.
Yeah. Well, you can go back and watch that later, and I think I did all right with it, so you should be semi-happy.
I could probably see it on YouTube. I just can't see it from my crappy.
Yeah. Semi-happy.
I don't know. I could.
So you should be semi-happy.
Oh yeah, I can. It's just black.
That's weird.
I wonder if it's this thing, the Samsung computer I'm using.
How old is your computer?
Oh, I just bought it this Christmas.
Oh, so it should be working.
Yeah, I look beautiful and handsome on here, but I can see you now again though. But
oh, that's good. You can see the top of my head right now.
Yeah.
That is strange.
So yeah, I belong to the Veterans Farmers Coalition, so that's one thing. But there, like I said, there's also a company that places potential farmers at farms that want to. So you say you want to be an organic farmer of strawberries. So you pay them to do a background check so that you're not sending serial killers to farmers. But you'll pay that, and then you'll go there, sign a contract with the farmer to stay for a year and a half, whatever you choose. But the minimum is about a year, so you can get a generalized, structure of how the farm works. And so, but I mean, you could stay 3, 5, whatever your heart desires, so that you get the full gambit, I guess, of what farming's really like. And but the takeaway is that you can decide whether it's for you or not, like I said, without a large investment or struggling and striving, be it, if you have your family or whatever. So
it could also be a great thing for veterans who are having a hard time, getting back into the way the world works. I mean, I don't know how many homeless veterans would actually be, up for that, because some are perfectly happy begging and not actually doing work. But the ones that would want to do work, I'm sure that would be, as long as they pass the background check, huh?
Yeah, of course.
And giving them an opportunity to better themselves. And anytime you can give somebody or teach somebody how to fish instead of giving them a fish is good in my book. So.
Yeah, I mean, the opportunity's there. And I think it's, a growing thing. Not, that's no pun intended, but like, whenever you work your own piece of land and you go to a job that you really are interested in, you're going to be more apt to put in your work, and be happy about it. That's a big thing, is being happy with your job. And a lot of people aren't happy with their job. So farming's a lot of hard work, a lot of long hours, and it's a underappreciated job.
Yeah, but hopefully you don't have to answer to nobody.
Well, I mean, ultimately you have to answer to somebody, but if you grow your own food, you have the opportunity to say, hey, I don't want to sell it to you for that cheap, or I can just eat it, because who can't eat food,
There's freedom in that. There really is.
But then there's also, the problem with, like I was saying the other day, broccoli. The same, you can grow kale or spinach in the same area as you do one broccoli sprout, but you could harvest the spinach 10 times or the kale 10 times, and the broccoli will only be able to be harvested once. So you want to, you want a loss leader, or do you want to make money selling something that somebody else might not? But that just goes back in with the elderberry. We're doing elderberry because not a lot of people sell it. Now, after this year, you're going to guarantee that the influx of people that's doing elderberry is going to go off the charts, right? Just like in Colorado, whenever marijuana was legalized, you couldn't buy seeds to plant marijuana because everybody wanted it, right? So,
right.
But this is not a fad as far as like the echinacea and the golden seal and elderberry, because it's been used for a long time. And Sumbacol, or whatever it's called, for the past couple of years, have been putting out a brand of their own cough syrup and stuff, like cold and flu medicine. The same people that make lozenges, for your throat.
Right.
But I can't share anything with you because I'm locked out for some reason, and I'm afraid.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to restart it because I'm afraid it'll kick me out, even though you're on it. I don't know how.
I would try, man. We're at that time that if it did go awry, I mean, we could probably call it, I suppose.
All right. Well, hang tight. Let me see if I can refresh it and bring myself back. And if I can't, thanks for everyone for showing up. And if you have any questions, comments, bitches, moans, complaint, leave them in the comments section over there, and I will try to answer them. I get a notification to my phone, and I usually answer questions or thumbs up, thumbs down them. And so please leave any comments over there if I don't come back. And we'll see you tomorrow. Same great time, same great place. Hopefully Mr. Stinger will be with us, and we'll talk some more about something. All right, let me refresh this and keep your fingers crossed.
All right, fingers are crossed. Yeah, well, looks like we're still live. Sweet. He's a wealth of information. If you're watching, you're in a good place for this. I know I learn a lot every time I talk to him, and that's what it's all about. But it does look like the chat is continuing to go live, so that's good. If it comes back and we can actually see him, he'll have some great things to share that I would definitely stick around for if you're still here. Yeah. There he is. And he's moving. I can see you.
No movement.
What? I can see you. You're moving.
All right, good. Well, so then I can refresh it. So it's kind of like the old school YouTube then.
Yeah, but this time you're still on. You're still on, bro. As long as one of us is here and you don't hit that end button, I think we're good.
Okay, awesome. So yeah. Anyways, back to the cold and flu remedies, I guess. So elderberry, which we've covered. Is there any other question? Does anybody have any questions about that? The main ones you want to do is blue and black. I think the red is semi-poisonous.
I do have one question about elderberries, other than the color, because I didn't know there was a problem with the color. Now I have more questions, but we'll get to the how much land you need to have in order to plant this, because some people don't have 10 acres, and some, then of course if you have wildlife, how much do you need to grow before the wildlife doesn't eat it all? You know what I mean? Because you want them to eat some, but not all of it.
Right. Generally speaking, you could do one plant. Corner your house someplace that gets, decent amount of light. They are kind of an understory plant, so you could plant them underneath the tree, but they need light to initially grow. So one plant will yield you, I believe, a 1-year plant that we planted, and I have this wrote down in my farming journal, or my farming journal. But I believe one plant will yield you 1 gallon bag. So, and of course that's according to, loss from birds or not getting to them early, or the harvesting of the leaves, not the leaves, but the flowers. So one plant let's see, you could buy 5 plants, 2-year seedlings, which will produce the very next year. So if you buy from Musser Forests, let me see if I can screen share this with you.
Sure.
Screen share. Please don't see all my 20 open tabs. There's nothing, of course, but
I have a ton of tabs open too.
let's see. Oh, I can share just what I want to share. Okay.
Nice.
So can you see that?
I can, yes.
Okay, so you can purchase them from here, and this is a 2-year seedling. And after the first year of planting this, if you keep it watered, they will actually grow approximately 6 to 8 feet tall. So it's a fast-growing bush, and it doesn't, like I said, does not require any special care. But you could buy 5 of them at $3.34 each, plus shipping and handling. So, and of course, the more you buy, the cheaper it gets. I usually am in the 100 range or the 300 range, just for, simplicity, because I can plant 100 of them. So, but anyways, they're sold out right now because of what's going on. And it's a little late in the season because it's already almost March. But usually I will, in October, November, I'll purchase however many I'm going to purchase, and then they'll send them to me on March 1st. So that's where you need to get your stuff from. I don't get paid by them, but I do appreciate them, and they're really good people. So
that is awesome. I didn't know it was that cheap. I mean, if somebody wanted to dabble in it, what's it going to cost you out of pocket? $5 if it costs shipping or tax?
Well, at minimum, you got a $5. You have to buy 5 of them at $3.34. So say $25 ship, maybe.
Yeah, that's not bad.
And then, I mean, the return on them, I'm pretty sure we got almost a gallon size bag out of one plant. So, and that's what we have in the freezer.
I would see. I wouldn't imagine I could use much more. Like their minimum of 5 plants, 5 gallons of that, boy. I'd have it come out of my ears.
Well, we actually dry them. We'll put them in the dehydrator, or we'll put them in the solar dehydrator and dry them. And then a gallon bag will fit into a quart jar. So, and then you could turn around and make muffins out of them. You can rehydrate them in honey and make syrup out of them, whatever. But then I also freeze some too. It just depends on how much you want to, how much of the nutrient content you want to take out of it, whether you dry them or freeze them, and actually, if you only freeze them once, it's supposedly better than taking them out and refreezing them again. So it takes the flavonoids out of them the more you remove them from the freezer and refreeze them. So
gotcha.
There's a lot of cool stuff that goes along with them. Echinacea is another good thing. So we covered that. Golden seal, plant that stuff. If you have a flower garden, I mean, a square foot garden, I mean, get yourself a pallet. Okay, knock out all of the center pieces of the pallet, leave the end pieces and the outside stringers, and fill it full of bags of dirt, and you can start growing there. That's a square foot garden. And then section everything off 1 foot square, 1 foot by 1 foot, and then you can plant in that. I mean, try to get one that I forget the markings. You have to do your research, but look up the markings that are heat treated instead of treated with some kind of poison. But if they're heat treated pallets, you can just leave it there and it'll rot, and put that back in the soil, and the worms will eat it up, and they'll love it.
Yeah.
So
bigger wood chips.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and then if you need fishing worms, you don't have to go to the store and buy them. You just lift the pallet up and get them out.
There you go.
So some of the other plants that thyme, THYME, it's a potent antiviral and has antibacterial properties, and it's delivered right to the lungs and the sinuses. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's for steaming. Okay. I'm already ahead of myself here. I'm looking ahead. Sorry. So some of this stuff sounds like cockapoo. So I don't know if you want to try it, but everyday immune soup. That's a good one. You should look that recipe up. I don't want to spit all that out, but ashwagandha. That's a good one. Eucalyptus, and of course everyone knows lavender. But you can use those in a steamy boiling pot to help with your sinuses. And then there's all kinds of do-it-yourself cough drops and stuff. So yeah, any other questions about as far as like planting and what size stuff you need? Or looks like Lisa's left. Looks like everybody's left, but
I'm trying to, think, because I have a lot of questions, and I would imagine I'm not the only one who might watch this. Like, somebody's going to hear about this from a friend, and then they're going to go on YouTube and look it up and try to get as much information as they can, because that's what I do when I learn about something new. Knowing about how big an area that you need in order to start planting, and all the things you can do with it, right? We know it's mostly elderberry, or you're talking about mostly for cold and flu. Lisa's still here, by the way, and there's different applications. We went over the jelly, we went over the tincture, syrup, right? And then you can also put it in muffins. I'm guessing it's the after you squeeze it, right? So that's mostly like the skin and the flesh, a little bit of the flesh, but not the juice in the muffin.
You can actually make it into anything. You can use blueberries. You can put it in cereal. You can put it in oatmeal. You can, but after you squeeze it out, instead of throwing it away, I just use it as I'll put it in pancakes or something along those lines. So I'm reusing it, or I'll put it in compost. But you don't have to use the strain berries. You can put them right fresh directly into stuff. You can make a tea out of it. You know how people infuse tea with like strawberries and stuff. Same thing with elderberry. You just put them right in there and infuse them right in there. So you can get that tonic or whatever they call it, the same way you would with a blueberry or a strawberry or anything. And you still get the same medicinal value, but the tincture and the syrup just make it last a little longer. So you can store it, basically, because the tincture and the elixir will store pretty much indefinitely because it's suspended in alcohol. The syrup, like I said, 3 months is what they suggest or recommend. But, I mean, you can eat them fresh or frozen, just like you would a bag of fruit out of the, the freezer section or something you stored yourself. And then the dried ones you can make muffins out of, too, because you add them to wet, your wet ingredients.
Now, would you even consider eating the dry ones as they are? Are they like a raisin, or are they too hard to chew on like that?
They're like little BBs.
BBs? Okay, yeah. So don't chew on the dried ones. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, you could probably put them in your mouth and rehydrate them. Just like put them in your lip like you would cinnamon or something. But
all right.
A lot of people, it's some of the stuff we do as far as like when we were kids and stuff, like people wouldn't think about like sassafras. You wouldn't cut a piece of the root off and put it in your mouth. I mean, who would think of that, unless you were taught that. Like honeysuckle. When we were kids, you pull them off and suck the nectar out of them, which just totally amazed people that you do that. So
I do remember that one. The sassafras, though, I think the only time I've ever heard that phrase is like on an old 60s sitcom or something. Sassafras,
Yeah, sir, give me some sassafras.
Right.
Yes, sir. Actually,
So I've definitely got a lot of learning to do, and it's funny because I would have thought that I would have known a little bit more about this, having grown up with a mother who was into the herbal stuff quite a bit. But I guess each person has their own lane, and they don't venture out of that once they found something that they've been told works good for something. Then that's what they use, and that's what they recommend. Versus they don't go out and try other things that are also recommended for that as well, which is great. It's eye-opening. I never would have thought that there's all these other things, and it's just because she was my only ever influence on herbal stuff, and now you get different opinions. You find out about different things.
yeah, I like to know as much as I can about everything.
Yeah.
Just like so we're sitting here talking about herbal medicines, but I also have a antibiotics pocket chart
Nice.
to tell me what antibiotics work for what. So it's always good to have a well-rounded knowledge of stuff. But like if you have this, then you can use your fish mocks or whatever on your own recognizance, because I'm not responsible for anything you do. But get one of these and you'll know that doxycycline works for something, 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 and it has a penicillin allergy, so you can't take it if you're allergic to penicillin. But
Yep.
Oh, another thing, tea. You can do tea. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you did mention the tea thing. As I was just saying, it's great to have that kind of knowledge, right? Even if you're not going to use that chart that you just mentioned for the infections or it's good to know so that when you're talking to your doctor, you get a better understanding. Knowing how to do things yourself, being self-reliant, I mean, that's just good, because one day things are going to be different. How different they are, who knows? If the power goes out for a month because of a natural disaster, or if the dollar crashes, that's always one thing, right? But being dependent on somebody else for knowledge, whether it be your doctor or dependent on a grocery store for your food, is just no way to live. If anything fails, you're screwed. And so the more, it really is, the more the better you're going to be. If you can take care of yourself in the worst of times, and it never happens, great. But they can't take away knowledge either, right? So once you know it, hopefully you don't forget it. I mean, sometimes I forget stuff. But once you know it, and even if you just dabble in it and you don't do it every day, if the situation were ever come around, you can go to that and you'll be all right. Versus somebody who only goes to the grocery store for their food and only goes to the doctor for the medicine. Yeah. They ain't gonna know what to do.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I just love reading stuff and being knowledgeable. I mean, it's just amazing. So everybody thinks that, you go to a pharmaceutical place and all they have is synthetic stuff, right? But in reality, most of the places that pharmaceutical, they have plants. Why? Because they're deriving synthetics off of the plants that they're going to. So echinacea, for example, if they have let me see. Let me back that up. So sweet gum, the sweet gum tree, you can look it up and do your own research, but please do, because it's very interesting. It has the same acid that they use to make the synthetic version of Tamiflu in the bark and in the seeds of the tree. So realistically, if you're savvy or want to experiment, you can go out and take some of the bark and make a tea out of the bark, and you have the same Tamiflu that they synthetically sell you at the pharmacy, right? Because I forget the exact acid that it causes, but it's the same, but it's the natural occurring version of what they sell you synthetically.
Yeah. Just
like acetaminophen comes from, is it a willow tree maybe? I don't know that off the top of my head, but I just read about them.
And they're hoping that you're ignorant to that fact. Because if you're ignorant to that fact, then you just overpaid a lot of money for what they actually did to that product in order to make it into a pill form that you buy into, or
Right.
medicine.
Like mint, certain mints, spearmint, I believe, is the main one, but spearmint is like a really good headache medicine. Okay. Like I actually grow it right outside the door of my front and back porch. So whenever I have headaches, because I suffer from traumatic brain injuries, or just, my kids, if they get a headache from school or whatever, you can literally as you're walking in the door, and pick some fresh spearmint and chew it, and it helps with headaches. Now, it's not the cure all, the end all. It's not a blocker or whatever those crazy drugs that they make. Like I take one headache medicine, but it literally makes you tingle from like the nipples up. Like you feel like you're having a heart attack. Like it's the most horrible thing in the world.
Oh wow.
So, I don't like that. I try to do, as much as I possibly can without feeling like I'm having a heart attack.
Hey, if you can avoid that, why not?
Nettles. Yeah, I don't do a nettle. Have you ever had sumac tea? Which is not poison sumac. A lot of people think we say sumac is poison tea or poison sumac, but sumac is a very sweet, has like these little crystals on it. It almost it reminds you of marijuana almost, because it's like the bud from that you would make the tea out of. It looks like a marijuana bud almost. So, but it has the stick. Like if you look at it up close, it has these little sticky crystals on it, and that's what you want from like you make sumac lemonade, which I have an entire book on. Outdoor drinks that you can get from nature that we can cover one time.
Wow.
Grows. Yeah, mint grows crazy. Lemon balm. I have a lot of lemon balm, and I grow it all the way around the house, just to keep bugs from around the house. But yeah, rosemary's hard to kill too. Actually, my sage and my curled parsley are still growing, and it was 17 degrees the past week for 2 days, and there's no cover; it's just in mulch. So that's phenomenal to have.
Right.
It really, the mints all died off, but I have a lot of different mints. I try to grow a different mint in a different section, and then I'll transplant it everywhere just to keep mosquitoes down or to help with it, and bugs. Plus the lemon balm, the bees love, so you don't really need to put any other pollinating plants. I do, but you don't have to. I spent a lot of money on pollinator plants, and matter of fact, give me 1 second and I'll grab some of the plant or the seed packets that I use.
All right.
Quick enough?
Yeah, that was pretty quick. I was getting a little worried. I was like, okay, this time I ain't got nothing to talk about now.
All right, so everybody's used to these American Seed Company packs, right? So that's where you get your main mixes of stuff because they're readily available. But blanket flour, I get from Seed Needs. Cherry brandy, Rebecca. And this guy's pretty good. He'll send you a free pack of seeds stuff if you buy a certain amount. Butterfly weed, which is also milkweed if you don't know. Passion flower. You could buy some of this stuff at the regular store, but I buy it in large quantities from this guy. So Lataris, Spasadia, gray feather.
I would have never thought, how important.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this stuff I didn't think of, when I was growing.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I don't want I don't want a flower garden, That's for the woman, right? I want fruits and veggies, not thinking that, I really kind of do need a flower garden just to attract the insects.
Well, the goal with the flower garden is not just to provide pretty flowers, but also to provide stuff that you can use. Because a lot of this stuff is medicinal, right? And you just have to go look it up, and it'll tell you what it's good for. Like St. John's wort.
I know about that one.
Pretty flower, right?
Yeah.
But that's medicinal.
Yeah,
so,
it is.
A lot of stores sell it under they'll sell it under St. John's wort, like cumin herb. Like you would think cumin that's red, right? You think the powder's red, but look, that's a pretty ass flower. But it is also, an herb that's good for you. Borage. I mean, I have a ton of stuff. Yarrow. So we didn't cover yarrow, but yarrow has a lot of medicinal properties. Yeah, I got a bunch. And it comes in different colors. So I have yellow, red, and white. And then the milkweed I buy. I'm actually allergic to milkweed.
Now, what's the benefits of milkweed? Because I've never liked that stuff at all.
Well, see, the good part about it is if you plant it on the outside of your garden, the caterpillars eat it and turn into those instead of eating stuff that they would. You don't want them to eat your
instead
stuff.
of eating the veggies that you don't want them to eat.
Right. So this is a sacrificial plant, right?
Yeah.
This is what I was talking about yesterday with sacrificial plant.
Okay.
This will keep certain things away, right? But it also attracts, parasitic wasps and stuff. So, which is a good beneficial.
Doesn't sound good and beneficial.
Well, a parasitic wasp won't necessarily attack you because it's not a paper wasp. Right. So they're not out. They're out to kill bugs, right?
All right.
So let's see what else we got. And then, I buy a lot of clover. I actually buy this in 50-pound bags, but this was on sale, so I bought it to put on one of my hugelkultur beds that I built up. So, and then this is a phenomenal mix if you have deer problem, right? It's a wildflower mix. Sorry. So, anyways, it's called W04 is what it sells for on seedneeds.com. It's yarrow, columbine, coneflower, which purple coneflower we just talked about. That's echinacea. Shasta daisy, godietta, coropus, lanceleaf, larkspur, foxglove, another purple coneflower, California poppy, blanket flower, candy tuft, gray feather, lupine, lemon mint, Shirley poppy, red poppy, Mexican hat, yellow prairie coneflower, black-eyed Susan, scarlet sage, and soapwort, all in this little pack, right? So, and this stuff really grows good, believe it or not. I think there's 30,000 plus seeds in here.
Do you just throw the seeds on the ground, or do you actually have to plant them like a quarter-inch down?
You prepare them. You prepare the soil. So if you have loose soil, then you should be good. But see, a lot of things that people don't understand is like when you go buy these. See, you went and bought this at the big box store, right? And you got that big bag, right? Well, if you look on the back, it says inert matter. 90% inert matter. So you're getting 10% seed in a pack. This is all 100% seed.
Oh wow!
So if you're paying, I forget, maybe $7 for this. This is all 30,000 plus seeds in here. But that big bag that you buy from the big box store, and I have them everywhere. I used to buy them till I figured this out. If you flip it over in the back, it says inert matter. 98% inert matter, 1% seed or something like that, So you're buying a box of sawdust or a bag of sawdust when you buy those big bags. So it pays to flip it over and look on the back of it, right?
Yep.
I got some low growing seeds. And then I have a bunch of these. I plant these wildflower seeds because it brings in the beneficial insects. Plant a lot of this stuff. Because it blows away. The birds carry it off and drop it somewhere else. So all I'm doing is helping out the environment because I'm putting this stuff everywhere. I have a specific one for birds and butterflies. It's got a lot of lupine in it and stuff for even hummingbirds. If you like hummingbirds, they'll come to this stuff. So, but basically, you know, I have a partial shade garden. So it's not all about just planting vegetables and stuff, because most of your herbs are flowers. Like if you go to the store and you like a health food store and you buy flax in the bag, as long as it's not been baked or dried and salted, you can take it out, prepare the ground, and dump it out there, and it'll grow because it's raw.
All right. Yeah, flaxseed is seed.
Yeah, but if you buy it in this package, it's $4. If you buy it in the raw flaxseed at the store, you get 50 million seeds. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you got to think about that too. But yeah, gotta quit saying but. I have no place to sit this.
Well, at least we're not talking about clay balls. So.
Oh yeah, that was yesterday. Clay balls.
There's a lot to the gardening, man. I'm trying to get it all in. You could definitely do chats on this every day and have plenty of content, because there is a lot to it with the companion planting and with the beneficial insect planting. And like, this is why all the rabbits were eating all my veggies in Ashford, because I didn't have other things for them to eat, apparently.
Well, if you put daffodils, I think, on the outside, they don't like daffodils, so they'll come up and start chewing on them, and they can smell them, and they'll automatically turn around and run away, unless they're really starving. But I plant daffodils all the way around my food forest, so whenever the deer come up browsing, they run right into them first, and they're like, "Oh, I don't want that." So
awesome information.
But you could also plant garlic, stuff like that.
I do like eating garlic too.
Yeah, onions, any kind of Egyptian walking onions, stuff like that. That's also pretty good. But it also depends on where you're at too, because you may not be able to grow some of that stuff, especially like in the desert and stuff. So
yeah, garlic I know I can grow. About the other stuff, I'm not exactly sure, but depending on how much water you want to give it, and that's why we had rain catchment. And I was really working on that. We weren't 100% on rain catchment because the place that we had bought didn't have it all set up, but it had some of it set up, so we were working towards that. But that was that was one of the main reasons why I wanted with the Back to Eden garden or mulch gardening, was just because I need to hold in all the moisture I can.
Right.
And that was the best way to do it.
So I have an entire book on herbal tea gardens. We can cover that at another time, but I wouldn't. Oh, I thought you was frozen. That's your.
No, I'm sorry, I didn't move.
Yeah, your ceiling fan is. Okay, love you. The wife is not coming into the camera.
No, I didn't see it anyway.
No, she won't.
Oh, that's fine.
What's that? I don't know. Hold on. Give me 1 second.
Sure. Hello to everybody who just joined us. See another fresh face or another person watching. Taking a small break. Mr. Irish has to deal with family stuff. Hey, there he is.
All right. So Yeah. We'll do a seed starting real quick, and then
Okay.
I'll have to cut out of here. So
Gotcha.
yesterday
And
we
we've been
talked.
going for a good long time. So
Yeah. So
sorry,
yesterday
go.
we talked about seed packet
Mhm.
costing you what, $2, and somebody was saying, oh, it costs you $2 to get a damn cucumber, right? So with your seed starting, I'm going to go ahead and check your USDA zone, and then check the back of your seed packets, which I brought seed packets over here for that reason too. So on the back, shows your zones. Well, each one of those zones represents where you live at, right? So you can do a search for your zone. And I'll share this in a minute once I get it brought up. So it's basically a planting zone. So Guernsey's has it, the USDA has it, and they have a map. All right. So I'll screen share. One tab. All right. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. So here is your hardiness zone map. And what you do is the easiest way is to go here, put your information in, or you can select your state and put your information in, and it'll spit out what area that you live in. So we'll do not my area because that would give it directly where I live at. But
Do 86323.
well, this is a
Okay. Oh, you gotta prove you're not a robot.
yeah, everything's. Oh, okay. All right. Well, we're not gonna do that. Anyways, it's being silly. So select your state. Let's see, Arizona, right? We'll do Arizona.
Yeah.
And then it gives you a breakdown of the areas, and internet's super slow, so bear with me. So 0 to 5 is zone 7A. So what was yours? Anyways, you can go check it out for yourself. But anyway,
Right.
basically what I'm getting at is so on everybody, I was asked a question about on the back of the seed packet. It says start this indoors. And it says 10 to 14 days to germinate, right? So then how long does it take for the seed to come up to an actual plant? So you take your information from this map, which I can copy and paste in the chat, and you take that information, plug it in there, and then on the back of your seed packet it says, hey, plant me 3 to 4 weeks before the last frost date. And 3 to 4 weeks from your last frost date is when you want to put this seed into the seed starting trays or your toilet paper rolls or whatever you decide to choose. So
Right.
I'll do a video on the seed starting, the made simple way, so that everybody can have a simpler understanding of what I was talking about with making your own pots and everything with the newspaper and the toilet paper rolls. But so that's how you figure out your hardiness zone through the USDA. And then you translate that into your 3 to 4 weeks on the back of your seed packet. So that gives you the last day that you want to plant your seeds, start them indoors before sitting them outside to harden them off your 4-week period. So, and the differentiation is a lot. So in your area, if it looks like a dark green or a light green, don't just guess. Put your information in here because it can sway drastically compared to, like here it's fairly green, but out here it's different in Colorado and different places. It's, the pink and purple are right on top of each other. So your neighbor two cities over or 2 towns over may be different than yours. So put your
Very
information in there.
interesting.
And then, like I said, count backwards from your last frost date, and you'll have the information you need to start your plants inside. And there's also one thing I was going to mention. Say one brand, American Seeds, is the one I've shown the pumpkins. They say 3 to 4 weeks. Some of them say 30 to 40 days. So each brand has their own specific time that they suggest. So it may be 40 days for one brand and 45 to 50 days for another brand, even though it's the same seed, same genius. So do with that what you will, but you can always start it a few days early, but it's better to start a few days earlier than later, but too early, then you'll have to start feeding them. So, and change them into bigger pots before you can put them in the ground. So, All right, any questions? Russ?
Oh, for me,
Anybody?
dude, I got so many questions. We could be here all day, but then at the same time, I think if I ask too much at one time, I won't comprehend it all. You know, I'll lose some of it. So,
Well, fill
but
me,
yeah, if anybody else
3
has
questions about what we just talked about.
3 questions of what we just talked about.
Yeah, something you want to clarify.
All right. So frost date, is that from the, you're saying before or after? I forget. It was after the last frost date.
Yeah, the USDA takes an average of all the frost dates for a period of time, 5 to 10 years, and then they give you an average frost date of when the last frost date will be at your current location.
And you want to put it in the ground then rather than before it, obviously, because you don't want it to die from the frost.
Right. Or you'll have to use row covers. But generally speaking, if you just want to plant outside, you need to start your plants 3 to 4 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, 9 weeks, whatever, inside. And some plants require that long. So for Indiana and my zone, which is quite a few zones in the same zone range, we're 9 weeks out. So if you have a plant that requires a longer growing period in, say, 8 weeks, you want to go ahead and start planting it inside right now so that you can harden it off for a week or two outside and then plant it out at the last frost date or somewhere around there. Now, that's not a perfect example because it could frost 2 days later than they said. So be prepared if you do put it out to cover it with straw or paper bags or something, because the frost date is just at an average of a 5 or 10 year period. So it could be later. What?
Could you cover it anyway, just in case?
No. If you cover it anyways, it could kill it if it gets too hot.
Very interesting.
All right, so that's
Sorry, I don't have more.
That's all right. That's all right. Write down stuff, man. We'll get to it. If you have any questions, text me or whatever, and we can answer them tomorrow or the next day. And
definitely comment.
Anybody that has questions and comments in YouTube land, leave them over there. Thumbs up, thumbs down, bitches, moans, complaints, questions, comments, leave them over there, and we'll get back to you. I'll answer you, or if it's a Mr. Stinger question, he can answer you too. So thanks for watching. I'm Irish USMC Vet, and that's Poison Stinger. We'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
Have a great day.
Later.